Part 50. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 492. At your age, you can become a demigod. In this star world, you should be the strongest genius, right? What a pity. Geniuses are meant to be killed. How many of you want to stop us? Xuanhuan sneered with extreme disdain and said. The mantis arms are like a chariot. And Duguyuking had already shouted. It's useless to talk, fight. He took one step forward, and in an instant, he was surrounded by a sea of swords. The sword energy was overwhelming, crossing the four fields, and rushing towards many wandering gods. Donors, don't panic, the monk will come to save you right now. Qing Chen held the broom at an extremely fast speed. Wherever he swept it, it was like a storm had blown between heaven and earth, covering dozens of wandering gods. Eat my butt. Wu Dade was like a human bomb, blasting down from the sky, his body emitting golden light, and his speed was extremely fast. But a group of wandering gods were quite surprised at this moment. Their power is not weaker than that of the wandering gods. Take action, strangle them, don't give them a chance. Kill. In an instant, a dozen wandering gods took the initiative to kill these geniuses. But in the next moment, a sudden change occurred. Xuanhuan punched down, dragon blood exploded, and the powerful punch light was as if it could slay a dragon, directly blowing away a wandering god. What kind of sword energy is this? Another wandering god was horrified because he was unable to block Duguyuking's sword energy and his chest was pierced. Beast, you've gone too far. A wandering god looked angrily at the fat man hitting him from the sky, and was extremely angry. Did the fat man want to sit on his butt to death? He raised his fist angrily and struck at the butt. However, the next moment there was the sound of broken bones. Snapped. Ah! The wandering god screamed miserably, his hand was broken, and his whole body was sent flying. On the other side, a wandering god was knocked unconscious by Lin Jujhan with a talisman and foamed at the mouth. This emperor's light is so green that you will panic. Lu Rang took a pot of grass and walked between the three wandering gods, and he was actually suppressing the three wandering gods. The grass was extremely lush, covering the sky and the earth, and every leaf seemed to contain a huge amount of power. A spider has 8 legs. Donor, you are too tired to live, rest in peace. King Chen's broom was like the wind. When he swayed it at will, he actually formed a series of air walls, trapping a wandering god. The wandering god roared, but he could not break through it at all. The autumn wind roars in August. Xuanhuan was reciting poetry, as well behaved as a child studying in school, standing with her hands behind her back, but with a unique style. A wandering god took action crazily, but at this moment he was doubting his life, because he felt as if he was enveloped in an inexplicable world. Whenever the girl read a poem, the world he was in started to change. Variety. But Gong Ya, at this moment, was extremely elegant. Facing the enemy's attack energy, she took it at her fingertips, as if she had melted those attacks into a furnace. With every move, a great avenue teapot appeared, melting everything. What kind of sorcery are you doing? The wandering god was extremely shocked. But in an instant, the digital wandering gods who took the initiative were all at a disadvantage. Moreover, among this group of young people, there are still several who have not taken action. The Star Boundary Alliance army was all surprised at this moment. Why are these people so perverted? With the level of a sub-god, he can actually defeat the wandering god? How is this possible? The Taoist skills performed by these people are unheard of and unseen, catch them and seize their inheritance, and we can soar into the sky. For a time, many wandering gods from the coalition army spoke one after another. Many people stared at Xuanhuan and others with burning eyes. The avenues displayed by this group of young people are so astonishing. At the same time, in the direction of Donghuang, the army from the Great Ruins realm finally arrived. Mu Wanqing, Yun Yinshan, and others led the army. A big flag flew, Lord of the Wild Sky. Oh! Is this the force that destroyed Zhang Gan and others? Tai Han said coldly. Attack the entire army and annihilate this world. Suddenly, hundreds of warships and millions of troops rushed forward. Accept the challenge. Mu Wanqing also shouted loudly. The troops of the Muling dynasty and the Yun family rushed away. The war breaks out. There is a huge disparity in strength between the two sides. The total number of people from the Muling dynasty and the Yun family is only 200,000. The overall level is even lower. Among the army of the Great Ruins realm, there are mostly cultivators in the realm of concentration and refining, but there are so many divine and sub-gods in the coalition army. After all, this is using the power of one realm to resist hundreds of realms. Who wants to fight? Yun Yinshan's killing power was fierce and his divine power was supreme. He charged into the Yishan battle group and killed a Yishan in an instant. This person is so strong. Focus on him. The enemy was shocked, and in a moment, several wandering gods came to attack them. Yun Yinshan faced many enemies with one, but he was not afraid at all. Yun Qianshan and Yunyang have also come over to fight alongside him. At the same time, an old vine rose into the air, and wherever it went, it directly pierced the chests of the two wandering gods. The sacrificial spirit of the Wood Spirit dynasty took action. After this period of dormancy, this old vine has entered the realm of the wandering god, becoming more and more terrifying. However, the four wandering gods in the Great Ruins realm are limited in their ability to fight against them. Even though Yun Yinshan Tianzong is a talented person, he can fight against 20 or 30 wandering gods alone, but compared to the number of more than 300 wandering gods in the enemy army, far from enough. Haha, let's end it. This world must be destroyed. Kill. Many wandering gods have taken action. 300 wandering gods are enough to kill everything. Even if the true gods come, they will feel palpitated when they see such a scene. 1,000 times the god burst out with endless power at this moment. In comparison, the power of the Great Ruins realm is too weak. Senior brother Zhang Li, come on, it's time for you to stop being a human being. Wu Date shouted. In front of Zhang Li, the old turtle acted as a chessboard, and he slowly made his moves. The Four Lives chess formation was activated instantly. Heaven and earth are like a board, and all living beings are like chess pieces. Everyone who comes into my possession is my son. However, at this time, endless lines of Othello broke out, spreading hundreds of thousands of miles, covering the entire battlefield. Suddenly, the one-sided battle situation seemed to be reversed because of the appearance of this chess formation. A high-end combat power like the second god was trapped and suppressed by Zhang Li alone. You must know that there are thousands of sub-gods in the field, and the power they erupt is equivalent to dozens of wandering gods. Brothers, I leave these wandering gods to you. Zhang Li spoke calmly. Okay. Kill. Long Xuanhuan and others also killed them. I want to hit 10. Long Xuanhuan shouted loudly, and the dragon fighting Jew evolved. Every punch and palm was as if it could destroy the sky. Wherever his fist was directed, there were more than a dozen wandering gods. Sword crushes all enemies. The pen in Dugu Yuking's hand continued to draw, and around him, it was like countless divine swords gathered together. The sword energy was vertical and horizontal, forming a sword-killing domain within 100 meters of space, covering more than 20 wandering gods. At the same time, in front of him, a fiery red bird flew along with his pen. His sword light was suddenly mixed with an unparalleled blazing fire, which seemed to be able to burn gods. It's amazing how many people there are. I have a lot of talismans. Lin Zhuchen grabbed a large handful, and various talismans were flying in the sky. In an instant, the area where he was filled with the power of the runes. Those who cannot forget the world cannot become gods. The music of the southern organ sounded, and she performed the forgetting song in reverse at this moment. Due to the sound of the piano, the wandering god who was enveloped by the sound of her piano suddenly had endless thoughts in his heart at this moment. Old feelings that cannot be forgotten, desires that cannot be suppressed, sins that cannot be washed away. At this moment, these wandering gods were all shocked. They actually felt that the sound of the piano put them on the verge of going crazy. The song Forgetting the Dust can make people forget the dust, but it can also make people amplify their inner thoughts of dust. If you practice spiritual cultivation, if your Taoist heart is not strong, you will become a demon. Evil song, evil song. A wandering god shouted. At the same time, the sound of the south wind was mixed with another kind of sound. Emperor Zun's formation breaking song. Endless killing. At the same time, a white Sirius roared with her sound wave, and the Sirius Langs running blood-boiled, charging towards these wandering gods. Yungzi, Xining, Gonggaya, etc. are also fighting. A total of 13 people blocked more than 300 wandering gods. Everyone is worth dozens of dozens. Moreover, they are all in the realm of sub-gods, fighting against the wandering gods of a higher realm. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 493. The war raged. Kill them. At this age, you can fight with us for so long with sub-god power. If you let it go, there will be endless troubles. Attack with all your strength. Many wandering gods shouted. In fact, Long Xuanhuan and others are fighting hard at this moment. Their Tao is very strong, but their realm is a huge chasm, and they have too many enemies to fight against. At the same time, everyone in the Great Ruins realm was also in extremely difficult situations. Even Yun Yinchan, Yun Qianshan, and others fell into death situations several times. But fortunately, Subakian wandered around the field and saved the defeat almost time and time again. Wherever she goes, even if she is certain to die, she is almost always reborn. Ah, I'll wipe it, come on my ass if you can, ah, I'll wipe it, you don't have martial ethics. Wu Dade was beaten by more than 30 wandering gods because he was so hateful that he even hit people with his butt. Kill this fat man. Kill him. There's something weird about this fat man. He's too strong to stay. A group of wandering gods are all jealous, they are all superior in all walks of life, and they are favored by the world. When have they been slapped with their butts? Wu Dade was a little miserable at the moment. His whole body was scarred and even cracked by the bombardment. Even if he is a true god, he is probably dead after being bombarded like this. However, Wu Dade had a heroic look on his face at this moment. I, Wu Dade, have never failed in my reputation as the Butt Emperor. A bunch of xiao xiao, come on. Dragging his seriously injured body, he rushed towards the many wandering gods and shouted. Let the storm come harder and blow me to pieces. Then, he was blown to pieces. Because none of these wandering gods could stand his provocation, and they exploded with all their strength. The wave of divine power from more than 30 wandering gods tore his body into pieces. His arms were broken, his whole body was cracked, and he was almost dead. Junior brother Dade. The rest of the people exclaimed. However, at this moment, Wu Dade raised his head and actually grinned. Very good, finally, someone can help Fatty take this step. The second level of dog breeding, the 9-turn golden body. He shouted loudly, and the source of the great avenue in his body suddenly burst out. At this moment, his body was reborn. The broken limbs grew back, layers of old skin fell off, the wounds healed quickly, and the bones all over the body crackled. Every inch of his flesh and blood seemed to be smelted with avenue runes. A surge of aura emanated from his body. He stood up in one step, his strong body like an immortal mountain. It is said that Buddhism has a supreme body refining technique called the 9-turn golden body. Could it be that junior brother Date has completed the first turn? Qing Chen was shocked and confused. In junior brother Date's dog-raising book, does he also teach the rumored Buddhist magic of the 9-turn golden body? And the group of wandering gods who besieged Wu Date were all shocked at this moment. How can it be? He became a god in the flesh. You can't keep me. You can't keep this kid. They were all shocked. The fat man in front of them was obviously about to die, but at the last moment, he actually achieved nirvana and his body became a god. This is the legendary cultivation method. Grandsons, feel the fear of being suppressed by this great butt emperor. Wu Date took one step forward, then rose into the sky, and his butt fell rapidly downwards. Bang! A wandering god was killed by him. Seeing this, a group of wandering gods were all mentally shattered. Damn, you are a god in flesh, you can blow them up with just one punch, but this damn fat guy still uses his butt? It's such an insult to God. At this moment, Long Xuanhuan, who was suppressed by dozens of wandering gods, was also filled with anger. There was blood in his teeth. If Xiling hadn't sent Subakian to him in time, he might have died. Dragon fighting Jew, breaking waves? He shouted loudly. In the wave of thousands of divine powers, it is completely sublimated. In his mind, he could only see the figures of the leaping fish when scooping them out with a ladle. If you want to catch fish, you have to break the waves. When I first started learning, when the wooden ladle hit, the waves splashed in all directions. Later, when I did whatever I wanted, the waves couldn't rise, but I could chase fish. His power underwent a qualitative change, a divine aura erupted in the light of his fist, and his big hand fell, suppressing the power of dozens of wandering gods. He has become a god. All sentient beings suffer all kinds of suffering because of thoughts of dust. The sound of the south organ was clear, and the many wandering gods enveloped by her domain felt an inexplicable sense of boredom at this moment. Just now, the melody of the south wind aroused their earthly thoughts, making their desires exposed, evil thoughts breeding, and almost all of them went crazy. However, at this moment, they feel that the sound of the piano is purifying their hearts, washing away their obsessions, making their Taoist hearts clear, and they seem to have forgotten everything. In this state, many wandering gods seemed to be controlled by the sound of the piano, and were in this state of freedom and detachment, unwilling to wake up. There is even a wandering god who is attracted by the sound of the south organ and is about to break through. Forgetting the dust, if you want to forget the dust, you must first understand all the thoughts in this world. Nanfan whispered, she first aroused the thoughts of these wandering gods, then understood everything about them, and finally erased them with the sound of the piano. This song bids you farewell. Finally, her piano sound slowly fell. In an instant, those wandering gods who were in the realm of enlightenment and were almost transcending, suddenly all transformed into Deo. Their soul light dispersed into countless light spots. The Tao Yun during his lifetime has fallen into this world again. She washed away all thoughts from these people. However, when the thoughts are exhausted, the soul will be eternally silent. The breath of the south wind quietly changed at this moment, and the music became a god. My sword still has one step left. Tuguyuking has finished writing the mysterious tower steel. The surrounding swordsmanship is so high that it seems to have formed an invincible sword domain. However, he always felt that one step was missing. In his mind, he recalled a piece of calligraphy once written by his master, a sword crushing the sky. During this period of time, he had painstakingly copied and learned the art of copying calligraphy. Now, he is trying to replicate the master's sword. However, he felt that sword, as if it had crushed eternity, making him breathless. He could only see its shadow and know its existence, but it was difficult to understand the thousands of sword intentions in it. My master crushes Tianese with one sword. With one sword, he can kill an enemy 10 miles away. One sword can cover 10 miles. He suddenly opened his eyes and swung out. At this moment, the Suzaku cries. All the sword intent within a few hundred meters around him merged into one sword. This sword is like invincible, sweeping away everything. Impossible. Some wandering gods shouted. However, the wandering gods who were killed by the sword perished one after another at this moment. Within 10 miles, invincible. Duguyuking is far from being able to conquer Tianese with one sword, but he can conquer 10 miles with one sword. Just that, he is already the god of swordsmanship. I don't know who cuts out the thin leaves. The spring breeze in February is like scissors. The lotus leaves touching the sky are infinitely green, and the lotus flowers reflecting the sun are exceptionally red. When autumn comes on September 8th, I will kill all the flowers after they bloom. Xuanhuan clasped her little hands behind her back, clearly carrying the aura of domination in heaven and earth, but she was reciting catchy verses. With every line of her poem, the world around her seemed to enter another world. I don't know who cut out the thin leaves, everything sprouts, the grass grows, and the heaven and earth are full of vitality. The lotus flowers in the sun are exceptionally red, a summer scene and the bloom of life. There are thousands of lotus flowers blooming around her, and the sound of frogs is heard. After my flowers bloom, hundreds of flowers will die. It is the withering of the chill, the ruthlessness of the autumn wind. Everything in the world is withered, and only one chrysanthemum is left, appearing in her footsteps. Every scene contains extremely complex avenues. The group of wandering gods who were against her seemed to be shocked at this moment. Is this the legendary method of speaking the spirit? It is said that after cultivating to the highest level, one can speak the law. Every line of her poem is like changing the world. Is she the ruler of this world? Invincible, invincible. A group of powerful enemies are now terrified. But Xuanhuan was so happy, like a child who was about to finish memorizing ancient poems and could go play. He read out the last sentence. Suddenly, a spring breeze comes overnight, and thousands of pear trees bloom. In an instant, the sky and the earth turned white, and there were bursts of snowflakes. The endless power of the gods turned into white snow. The beauty between heaven and earth is extremely beautiful. From spring to summer, from summer to autumn, now from autumn to winter. It seems that this world has come to an end. The years have come suddenly. The fluttering snowflakes fell on the shoulders of many wandering gods. Then, those wandering gods instantly turned into ice sculptures of snowmen. Completely lost his life. If you learn ancient poetry, you don't need to build a snowman, it's so beautiful. Xuanhuan blinked her big eyes, like a child full of curiosity about the world. Around her, the gods and spirits are complex, as if the endless world is unfolding behind her. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 494. In the blink of an eye, Wu Dade, Long Xuanhuan, Nanfan, Duguyuking, and Xining have become gods. Donors, I will save you for your own good. Why should you resist? Why don't you want to be reborn in bliss? King Chen's monk's clothes were stained with blood at this moment, but he had a smile on his lips. Dead monk, even if the gods and Buddhas in the sky come, you can't even think of saving us. Go to hell. A group of wandering gods, taking crazy action. They all have a sense of urgency. There were people becoming gods one after another, and the movement of becoming gods was so loud that the remaining wandering gods were all panicked. But Qing Chen smiled slightly and said, "Really? Can't all the gods and Buddhas suppress you? Why bother with all the gods and Buddhas to suppress you? He raised his hand with a thought, and suddenly, endless hands and endless brooms evolved behind him. Thousands of hands, thousands of brooms. Is this the legendary thousand-armed Xuanhuan? Is this the magical power that senior brother Qing Chen developed by catching ants every day? Incredible! Wu Date and others were all surprised. This kind of magic was so extraordinary. Thousands of hands clear the dust, and one step falls. In an instant, every hand was holding a broom and attacking. Moreover, each hand has been enlarged dozens of times, and its power has been doubled. No. What the hell is this? The wandering gods were shocked. They felt like they had turned into ants. Screams continued, and each wandering god was beaten to death. My teacher is compassionate and has completed his salvation. Qing Chen smiled slightly, and in an instant, thousands of hands disappeared. The talisman of heaven transforms the movement of heaven and earth. The power of the great ruins is added to my body. If I have a will, the heaven must also obey the order. Lin Zhuzhen bit his finger, pointed one finger to the sky and the other to the ground, and drew talisman with blood. When the talisman was completed, the sky suddenly changed color. Thunder struck from the sky. Thunder disaster. At the same time, on the earth, there was earth energy, rolling like a dragon, impacting. The talisman of heaven transforms the natural power of heaven and earth. No. This is a forbidden technique. Peering into the nature of heaven and earth, you will suffer bad luck. The thunder from the sky crashed and the earth energy hit. These wandering gods were in despair. They cursed wildly. Finally exploded. At the same time, there is great ominousness between heaven and earth, and there is cause and effect, falling towards Lin Zhuzhen. Ouch! The little unicorn waved its hoof, opened its mouth and swallowed the ominous aura that filled the sky. Its aura grew rapidly, and this ominous power actually seemed to become its food. The little Kylin burped and exhaled a breath of auspiciousness. It was so cute. Lin Zhuzhen smiled and touched Xiao Kylin's head. He had become a talisman god. At the same time, on the other side, Lu Rang screamed. Because, under the combined efforts of dozens of wandering gods, his grass blades were about to break. The vitality of the grass is almost extinct and it has become withered and yellow. I'll fight with you. Lu Rang's eyes turned red and he rushed to kill with all his strength. Eventually, his grass withered completely. You are dead. You guys with grass, let them be exterminated. Do you like me, Mr. Lu? I will send you to hell. A group of wandering gods take action. However, at this moment, Lu Rang suddenly raised his eyes. Life and death, withering and glory, I understand. You, all die. His heart connected with the grass. At this moment, all the withered grass leaves fell off, and then a new young leaf emerged from the soil. A blade of grass, as if it has gone through reincarnation, contains mysterious power and displays endless divine power. One leaf crushes the sky. Bang bang bang. The wandering gods exploded. Lu Rang rose from the sky, looked around, saw a leaf under his feet, and shouted. Who else? Silence in all directions. No one dares to challenge him. Everyone was looking at his grass, which contained a thrilling aura. That grass has the aura of reincarnation. Is a prosperous period a reincarnation? What kind of grass is this? It's so unnatural. Reincarnation, the eternal secret. That grass. Countless wandering gods were shocked. They remembered the scratches and claws recorded in the oldest secret treasure. No one has seen reincarnation, no one knows about reincarnation, but that grass and that kind of interpretation gave them their first intuition, that it involves reincarnation. Cooking tea and wine, practicing thousands of great ways together. Gongya drew a pot of avenue between her hands, and the attacks of many wandering gods were integrated into it and refined by her. In the end, her Taoist mind became clear, affecting the secrets of heaven, and she entered the realm of wandering gods. In the blink of an eye, one after another people in the field became gods. This kind of movement shocked everyone present. These people are so evil. Enlightenment through battle, how dare you be so bold, in the sub-god realm, you dare to use dozens of wandering gods to achieve enlightenment. It's terrible, it's terrible. Everyone was shocked. At this moment, hundreds of wandering gods have died in the field. Retreat, retreat. A wandering god spoke directly and lost his fighting spirit. They have become gods, we are no match at all. Yes, leave. The situation is not right, I want to run away. Can't escape. Kill me. At this time, Xuanhuan roared angrily. We still have a trump card, killing them is easy. Kill. He turned around and landed on the giant ship. Then, I started playing the drums myself. The drums sounded, and the power of the true God swayed. Yes, there is another trump card, kill. We have gods behind us, so why should we be afraid? Kill. The morale of the coalition forces was greatly boosted and they swept in again. However, at this moment, Zhang Li, who had been sitting upright in the sky as if nothing had happened, smiled slightly and said, "This time, can you come to me?" After saying that, his chessboard glowed brightly. His understanding of the 9 lives chess formation has gone one step further. The 9 lives chess formation is the birth of heaven, the birth of earth, the birth of humans, the birth of chaos, the birth of gods, the birth of saints, the birth of immortals, the birth of reincarnation, and the birth of nothingness. Previously, he had already understood the 5 life chess formation. At this moment, he has taken on another level, Sheng Shen. Heaven, earth, humans, immortals, saints, gods. 6 life chess formation. In the way of attack and defense, God is also inevitable. His chess piece fell. In an instant, the enemy deities, wandering gods, etc. suddenly felt as if they were in another world. Their attacks came with a bang. However, their attacks all hit their own people. Ah! No. Killing each other, countless people died. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of thousands of people died. When you attack, have you ever thought that every attack will destroy yourself? Zhang Li shook his head slightly, and finally made another move. The chess lines are like the sky, affecting the energy of heaven and earth. The remaining hundreds of thousands of troops seem to be trapped in a hell of destruction, torn apart by the chess lines and destroyed. It's like a grand bloody fireworks. In the midst of the fireworks, Zhang Li was like a god sitting cross-legged in the sky, watching all the prosperity and vicissitudes of life. He picked up a cup of tea and took a sip. In Master's eyes, the 2 realms of yin and yang are filled with gods and Buddhas. I'm afraid the same is true. He can be destroyed with just a thought, right? He suddenly felt that his state of mind at this moment was a little close to his master. Wherever the chess line passes, there is massacre. Countless people died. There was silence. Everyone was shocked. As expected, you are indeed not a human being. Wu Dade sighed again. In society, Brother Zhang, are ruthless and don't talk much. Lu Rang said, I'm convinced. Qing Chen shook his head and said, cruel, simply cruel. You have no kindness at all, why don't you try to save yourself like me? Everyone looked at him. The people of the Muling dynasty and the Yun family were also shocked. It's like I saw the stars that dominate the heavens rising in this world. Yun Qianshan was filled with emotion. A disciple has a supreme road, Senior Li, what is he planning? Yun Yinshan was shocked. Senior Li's handiwork was too big. These disciples are all giants. On the giant ship, even Xuanhuan, who was playing the drum, was shocked. What kind of monster is this? What weapons did the enemy use? Isn't it too cruel? He was startled, but then gritted his teeth. The coalition forces are about to be destroyed. I'll fight with you. He burns his life and beats the drum violently. At this moment, the sound of true God-level war drums suddenly came out. Different from the provocative war drums before, at this moment, the war drums carried the sound of killing, as if they were above the common people and wanted to destroy an entire world. This true God-level war drum contains the spirit of a true God. At this moment, this spirit has fully recovered. In the sky, the clouds broke. Cracks spread across the earth. Puff. No. Fear. On this battlefield, many members of the Muling dynasty and the Yun family could not bear it and were forced to kneel down. It seems like the world is about to be destroyed. It's so exciting. Sound waves can kill everything. Wu Date and others were also shocked. The music of the south wind sounded, but it could only protect a group of brothers. Kill everything. Tai Han shouted loudly. The sound of the drum was like thunder, the invisible sound wave, the spirit of the true God contained in the drum, turned into a terrifying big hand, hanging down from the sky, covering the entire eastern wasteland. To destroy the entire eastern wasteland. At this moment, many people in the Yun family and the Muling dynasty were in despair. So what if we win? The enemy's background is too deep. However, at this moment, a white Pegasus appeared from the sky, and a girl in purple smiled slightly. I'm sorry, junior brothers and sisters, it's my first time to draw a chicken, so I'm a little slow. Zi Ling spoke to everyone sheepishly. Then, her pen put the last stroke on the rice paper. On the rice paper, that's an old hen. When the blue fell, the rice paper suddenly started to tremble. At this moment, there seemed to be endless Dao Qi gathering around Xiling. The phantom of a divine bird that only existed in myths and legends appeared behind her. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 495. The war drum of the true God was fully activated, and the spirit of the true God formed a big hand, covering the sky and the sun, intending to destroy the entire eastern wasteland. Suddenly, with one stroke of Xiling, the rice paper exuded peerless energy. Behind her, an overwhelming shadow appeared. It's like a creature from ancient times is awakening. It seems that the master who controls the heavens and the universe is resurrecting. The phantom gradually took shape, and two huge wings appeared in the sky. The principles of the Dao formed its feathers, and the rime of the Dao formed waterfalls. This is a divine bird that only exists in myths and legends. The moment it appeared, the sky of the great ruins realm was directly torn apart by this terrifying Dao Qi machine, and all kinds of Dao were roaring. All the creatures in this world feel an unparalleled feeling of worship rising from their hearts at this moment, as if they are facing the oldest totem. Endless beasts trembled, and the birds in the world did not dare to fly. This divine bird was like the master of the world. A clear cry sounded, and the divine bird vibrated its wings. In an instant, thousands of auspicious auras exploded between heaven and earth, and an unparalleled hot flame passed through the sky, burning everything in the sky. The world-destroying hand formed by the true God's war drum was instantly wiped out. Bang! There was a loud explosion, and the true God war drum exploded on the giant ship, like a bomb. No! Tai Han trembled, and at the last moment before death, unparalleled fear flashed in his eyes. Why? Why did all the true God-level war drums fail? What kind of creature was born from the girl's writing? Run away. He tried his best to block the power of the explosion of the war drum, and threw his son Tidingsi out. Then, Tai Han's body was directly annihilated. Ah! Tidingsi screamed miserably, but was still affected, and his body exploded, leaving only a human head, which fell to the ground. Around the giant ship where the true God war drum was located, all the big ships were blown up. This kind of fluctuation made the earth tremble. As the world watched this scene, there was deathly silence at this moment. Stunned. This scene is too incredible. The true God's war drum, a world-destroying hand, almost unrivaled by anyone in the world. However, in front of that ancient divine bird, he was vulnerable. Then, what kind of magical bird is that? It's so scary, it's so scary. Is it the legendary phoenix? Everyone looked at the scene in Tianyu in shock. Senior Sister Xiling, drawn a phoenix. Lin Zhujian's expression was extremely complicated. Senior Sister Xiling observed the phoenix and has mastered some of its principles. Zhang Li was a little distracted. As for Xiling, her peerless appearance also turned pale at this moment. Painting this painting consumed a lot of her energy. The phoenix is a divine bird in myths and legends. It contains the most primitive and complex ways. So far, she has only observed a little bit. She only realized this because the chickens in the yard were very cooperative. It is even harder to show it. This can be said to be the most difficult painting she has ever painted since she started learning painting. Moreover, the phantom of the phoenix she drew can possess such power. In addition to the extremely powerful phoenix itself, the most important thing is that the pens, inks, and papers she used were all produced by Xuanhuan. It would be impossible to draw anything else, because the phoenix's status is too high, and the things in this world cannot bear it. A smile appeared on Ziling's lips. At this moment, she had become a god. In fact, when she took the original divine grape, she could already break through to the realm of wandering gods, or even higher. However, that kind of breakthrough lacks the understanding of the Great Road. It is now complete. Who destroyed my treasure? However, at this moment, a loud shout suddenly fell from the sky. In the sky, 5 divine figures appeared, like the masters of the world. These are the 5 true gods. The leader is the true god Roy. The war drum was given by him. At this moment, seeing the scene in the field, true god Roy's face was extremely cold, and his eyes contained anger. It seems that you are the hidden strong men in this world. True god Roy stared at Ziling and said, "Catch her." Suddenly, the 5 people moved and appeared directly around Xiling, surrounding her. The Pegasus was galloping at an extremely fast speed, but the 5 true gods joined forces to directly seal the space where she was. Ziling's pretty face changed slightly. Now that she has lost her power, she cannot break this rule. How dare you? Save Senior Sister Xiling. Long Xuanhuan and others shouted anxiously and rushed forward. However, the 5 true gods joined forces to seal the sky. This power is too vast. Long Xuanhuan, Nanfan, and others have just become wandering gods. If their realm is a few steps higher, they may have a chance to shake it. Right now, it's not possible. The gap between the true god and the wandering god is like a chasm, because the true god already possesses the fruition status. 5 people approached Ziling and were about to capture her. Ziling. At this time, a white figure rose across the sky with a peerless appearance. Yungzi. She took action and decisively killed the 5 true gods. Do ants also dare to attack the giant dragon? True god Roy's face was cold and his big hand fell. Yun 11 rose into the air, her beautiful big eyes filled with anger, and she raised her hands subconsciously. In an instant, there seemed to be endless avenues evolving in her hands. That's colorful sunshine. Below, Zhang Li and others were surprised. Yun 11's movements were very similar to the gymnastics taught by his master, colorful sunshine. No. It's not the colorful sunshine, it's some kind of magic that comes out of the colorful sunshine. Nanfeng murmured. Under the gaze of everyone, in the sky, Yungzi faced the attack of the true god, and seemed to have forgotten everything at this moment. She took action selflessly. Although her movements still have a few shadows of broadcast gymnastics, they are completely transformed and extremely smooth, like an ancient and extremely elegant dance. At this moment, there was endless divine light evolving around her, and the seven-colored divine light appeared, making her look peerless. She is like the most eye-catching sun in the world. At this moment, the aura of Shinto is flowing. She is proving God. As she danced casually, the colorful divine light filled Fang Tianyu. Suddenly, the world seemed to be affected by some kind of energy, as if time was passing by. Under the attention of everyone, the sky suddenly changed. The five true gods took action frantically, but they suddenly disappeared at this moment. Zi Ling also appeared on the spot. What happened? Everyone was stunned. Could it be said that Yongzi took action and actually killed the five true gods? This is impossible. Even if Yun 11 becomes the wandering god, the gap between him and the true god is extremely huge. It would be difficult to face even one of them, let alone five true gods. However, when everyone was stunned, fluctuations in the sky were heard again. Five divine figures reappeared in the sky. Who destroyed my treasure? True God Roy roared angrily, stared at Xiling and others, and said, "It seems that you are the hidden strong men in this world." However, after saying these words, True God Roy suddenly looked shocked. They all looked at each other in shock and disbelief. Because this scene has just happened. Their time went back. How can this be? What kind of sorcery is this? Affected time and space? Impossible. Space is hard to change, time is eternal, who can affect time? They stared at Yongzi in disbelief. Wu Dade, Long Xuanhuan, and others were also shocked. Even they were surprised. Time magic. Is this the Taoist magic contained in the colorful sunshine? Lin Zhujian spoke in disbelief. Are we doing the same gymnastics as Miss Yongzi? Zhang Li almost doubted life. I'm sorry, Master. Master, did he secretly make up lessons for Miss Yongzi? Wu Dade looked sad and angry. On the sky, Yongzi was also a little confused. Even she herself was not aware of this process. Everything just happened naturally, as if it should be the way it should be, and those evolutions of Tao seemed to have been well understood for a long time. But, no matter what, she looked at Zi Ling and said, "Sister Xiling, come here quickly." Zi Ling was also in a daze, because her time had also flowed backwards. When she heard the words, it was like waking up from a dream. Tianma carried her to Yongzi's side in an instant. "Sister Yongzi, you are so amazing." Zi Ling's big eyes were filled with admiration. Yongzi rode. I don't know either." They returned to the crowd. "Fight them." "Who's afraid of whom?" Dugu Yuking and others looked at the sky with high spirits. At this moment, the five true gods in the sky were filled with fear. The little wandering gods can usually destroy a piece with just a raise of their hands. But now, at this moment, these young people. It made them feel a sense of danger. In particular, a magic that can affect time has just appeared. What are the origins of these people? Cannot imagine. And at this moment, suddenly, a silver divine shadow appeared. Dressed in a silver robe, he seemed to have a natural sense of superiority, and his aura made people tremble. He looked at Yun 11 and others calmly. "I didn't expect that in such a small star realm, I could actually see the legendary time technique." Then, he looked at Xiling again and said, "Have you ever seen the phoenix stone carving? It's really extraordinary to be able to understand this kind of technique from it. The phoenix has long since disappeared in time and space. In the entire universe, there are only some extremely ancient stone carvings left, which also contain some records of phoenix. Those stone carvings are all extremely precious and are occupied by giants from the 33rd heaven. Therefore, he naturally felt that Zi Ling must have seen the phoenix stone carving. Now, is it possible that there is a piece hidden in this small star realm? A trace of greed flashed in his eyes. The secret of time, the phoenix stone carving, there are great opportunities in this world. Lead the way. Where are you coming from? Take me with you and I will spare your lives. He ordered calmly. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 496. Everyone was looking at the middle-aged man who appeared on the field. His aura was too strong. Even though he didn't do it deliberately, it was still extremely frightening. The five true gods were all eclipsed at this moment, looking at him with great respect. Greetings to the god of Changdao. Greetings to the god of Changdao. Roy Zhenshen and others all opened their mouths. Hearing this sentence, everyone became pale. God. God, the legendary God. The true God is already an existence that is difficult to look up to. At this moment, a God actually appears. God, extremely powerful. Everyone in the Great Ruins realm was shocked. For the star world, the highest level is the wandering God, and true gods are extremely rare. Gods, the only ones that exist in records, are said to be in the divine realm. Now, one actually appeared? The gods, the Great Ruins realm actually summoned the gods. Yun Yinchen's expression was extremely solemn. What kind of conspiracy is hidden behind this? He felt that a big picture was slowly emerging. So what about gods? Long Xuanhuan stepped forward with a high fighting spirit and punched out. However, when he punched out his fist, there was no fluctuation. It was as if he had turned into a mortal and stretched out his fist. There was no fluctuation of divine power, no roar of Tao, and not a single wave appeared in the world. Changdao Tianshen smiled slightly, with an unparalleled sense of superiority. He smiled and said, "Do you know what the word God means? God of heaven, God of heaven. If I don't agree, this world will be silent. Standing high above, it's like looking down on all living beings. What a God, using his own divine domain to suppress the younger generation, he can still speak so calmly and calmly. Where is your face?" At this time, Yun Yinchen spoke coldly. He also knows about the realm of gods, because he once impacted this realm in the past. Gods will harmonize with heaven and earth and gain the divine domain. In the divine domain, he is almost invincible, and all rules will be obeyed by him. But now, Changdao Tianshen has invisibly covered this space with his divine domain, so Long Xuanhuan's attack will be completely useless. Hearing this, Changdao Tianshen couldn't help but glance at Yun Yinchen. Why do I feel that you look familiar to me? He opened his mouth, thought, and suddenly said. Yun Chen, who was one of the top 10 geniuses in the past, what does he have to do with you? Hearing this, Yun Yinchen was silent for a long time and said. It has nothing to do with it. Hearing this, Changdao Tianshen couldn't help but shook his head slightly and said. Haha, I thought I could see Yun Chen, the genius of his generation who once dominated the divine realm and was known as the Invincible, in this world. After all, in the past, he fell in love with a woman he shouldn't have loved, was expelled from the Yun family, and was knocked out of the mortal world. This incident caused a sensation in the entire God's domain. He looked at Yun Yinchen, with a hint of joking in his eyes, and said. I have seen his statue in the past, it is unforgettable. There is a certain similarity between you and his features. If I didn't kill him, I would kill you to satisfy my feelings. He suddenly raised his hand. Yun Yinchen's face changed. He noticed something, but before he could react, he spit out a mouthful of blood and turned pale. Father! Yun 11's face was filled with anger. At the same time, she was a little anxious because she couldn't take the initiative to drive the butterfly given by the big devil. Those butterflies would only protect her when she was in danger. She gritted her silver teeth and took the initiative to rush towards Changdao Tianshen. Changdao God was extremely disdainful and prepared to kill Yungzi with one palm strike. But at this moment, a great panic arose in his heart. It seems that his murderous intention will bring disaster to himself. Is there something in this girl that can destroy her? In the realm of gods, the premonition of danger is too strong. He immediately put away his murderous intention and controlled the divine realm. Suddenly, Yungzi returned to the original place and could not get close to the Changdao god. 11 don't go. At this time, Yun Yinshan spoke with some difficulty. Huh? The origin is so profound that you are not dead yet. When Changdao Tianshen saw Yun Yinshan, he was surprised and said with a smile, well, since you are not dead, you are destined to do so. How about kneeling down and worshipping me as your teacher? Yun Yinshan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, but his expression remained unchanged and said, your cultivation level, in the same realm, you can't even rank among the top 30,000. You are not strong enough. Not strong enough? Hearing this, Changdao Tianshen's face turned cold, and he had murderous intent in his heart. He is angry in his heart and doesn't dare to kill your daughter. Doesn't he dare to do something to you? Brother God, don't be angry, I'm here to worship you. At this time, Wu Dade came out and went directly towards Tianyu, ready to bow down. At this moment, Changdao Tianshen immediately felt a huge crisis. He hurriedly raised his hand to stop Wu Dade, making Wu Dade unable to worship. He felt that if he let this fat man bow down, something might happen to him. Could it be that there is something weird about this fat man? Damn, are these young people going too far? It didn't matter that a girl in a white dress gave him a spiritual warning. He was a god. Could it be that he couldn't bear the obeisance of this fat man? Weird, so weird. Wu Dade immediately cursed and said, can you, God, why don't you let the believers worship for a while? Changdao Tianshen was extremely cold and said, I am getting more and more curious about what is behind you. It actually made him fearful. You want to see the being behind us? At this time, Nanfan suddenly spoke and said, just in time, my master also wants to see you. Do you dare to go? When she said this, everyone reacted. When I came out, master said, if you encounter someone you can't beat, take him back to the village. Everyone suddenly realized that it turned out that the master had long expected to encounter a god-level powerhouse. Changdao Tianshen couldn't help but feel shocked when he heard this. Master? Is there actually an old monster behind these monsters? There was a flash of hesitation in his heart, but then he said calmly, lead the way. He believed that there was danger behind these young people. But, there is also a great opportunity hidden. Your Excellency, please come with us. Nanfan spoke immediately. Changdao Tianshen followed indifferently. You guys wait here. He said something to Roy Zhenshen and others. Yes. Roy Zhenshen and others replied respectfully. Nanfan and others immediately took Changdao Tianshen to the god burial wasteland. Shortly after they left, a silver figure reappeared in the field. God, you didn't go. Roy Zhenshen and others were all surprised. Changdao Tianshen smiled slightly and said, the main body is here, and the clone goes forward. He can reach the level of a god, and his caution is beyond ordinary people. Since those young people were weird, how could he easily commit danger himself? If the clone goes forward, he will still have the confidence to suppress everything. Moreover, with the main body here, he will be absolutely safe. Seeing this scene, the expressions of Yun Yinshan, Yun Qianshan, and others who stayed here changed. They didn't expect that Changdao God could be so cunning. And at this moment, in a small mountain village, Li Fan is stewing chicken. It's almost ripe and the aroma is fragrant. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 497. It smells so good. Li Fan fanned the fire with a cattail leaf fan and smelled the aroma overflowing from the casserole. The little white cat was also standing next to him, its eyes filled with anticipation and meowing. The big black dog was lying on the side, wagging its tail, and its eyes were salivating. Don't worry, I'll give you chicken legs later. Li Fan smiled, touched Xiaobai's head, and said, You haven't eaten any meat during this period, are you hungry? Xiao Li, is the chicken stew ready? At this time, an old voice came. Li Fan raised his eyes and saw Uncle Zhao coming out of the house carrying 2 bottles of wine, and said with a smile. Come, have a drink with me. Li Fan smiled and said. Good. The wine was already placed on the table, and the second uncle poured it for Li Fan. Li Fan stewed the chicken until it was mushy, then he took the pot and brought it to the table. Second uncle, here's a toast to you. Thank you for your generous gift of chicken. Li Fan raised his glass and drank with the second uncle. Why are you so polite to the second uncle? Come and grab it anytime you want. The second uncle drank it all in one gulp, feeling very happy. When he saw the little white cat in Li Fan's arms looking at the pot, he smiled, lifted the lid of the pot, picked up a big chicken leg, and put it in the little white cat's bowl. Road. Come on, little guy, eat quickly. When Bai Xiaoqing saw the chicken legs, she meowed happily and started to eat happily. Yes, Li Fan is at the second uncle's house right now. After a group of disciples left, Li Fan was bored. He originally wanted to kill a chicken or a fish, but he was afraid that Xiling and Long Xuanhuan would be sad when they came back. He hesitated for a long time, so he simply took the cat and dog to the second uncle's house to catch the autumn breeze. Hearing that the kitten had no meat to eat, the second uncle slaughtered a chicken and asked Li Fan to stew it and feed it to the cat. This kitten looks happy. When the second uncle catches the mice later, he will give them to you to eat. The second uncle looked at Bai Xiaoqing and smiled. Hearing this, the little cat who was eating chicken legs suddenly raised his eyes. Meow meow. Eating mice, I don't want to eat mice. The second uncle is scaring you. Li Fan touched Xiaobai and threw some chicken bones for the big black dog to chew on. There was a hint of resentment in the big black dog's eyes, but as soon as he lowered his head, he started to enjoy the delicious food. After all, although this chicken is not as good as the ones in the yard, it is still a rare thing in the world. Moreover, it is stewed by the owner himself, which is extremely extraordinary. Li Fan and the second uncle immediately started drinking under the shade of the tree. You had a cup and I had a cup. Li Fan felt that although the second uncle's wine was not very tasty, he still enjoyed it leisurely. It was really pleasant to spend time while listening to the second uncle's interesting stories about the village. And at this moment, outside the village, Nanfan and others finally arrived. Falling outside the small mountain village, Changdao Tianqian's expression suddenly changed slightly. No. How could this kind of place appear in the Great Ruins realm? He was surprised. At a glance, this small mountain village looks like the residence of a god. The aura of Shinto was filled with it, and the gods were hanging all over the sky. Just one glance at it made him feel like he couldn't help but worship. This feeling, he had only experienced this in a certain year when he followed the Lord of God to visit the temple of a certain divine king. Could it be said that here, there is actually a god who is cultivating in hiding? His face looks a little ugly. My master is in this village, do you still dare to go in? Nanfan spoke calmly. Changdao Tianqian really hesitated at this moment. The Divine Lord is a giant even in the divine realm. Even though his master is just a divine master who wants to prove the divine king, unless this ritual is successfully completed. But, suddenly his heart skipped a beat. Something was wrong. How could a divine king exist in a place like this? Between heaven and earth, all the gods are in the 33rd heaven. If you want to leave, you must obtain the consent of heaven. The 33rd heaven is the residence of the great figures of Shinto, and the ruler of those powerful Shinto is the heaven on the 33rd heaven. Moreover, the status of a god-level figure cannot be tolerated by this mere great ruins realm. That kind of person, let alone living in seclusion here, just needs to pass through this corner of the star field, and these stars will probably be crushed. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but realize that this was not the place where the Lord God lived at all. The other party is threatening me. Right? He understood that this was an illusion, not the real residence of the God King. He couldn't help but glance at Nanfan and sneered in his heart, almost falling into the trap. If I hadn't been brave and careful, I might have run away as soon as I saw this place. At the same time, he felt instantly angry and hot in his heart. To be able to evolve a god-level illusion, there must be a treasure here. No wonder these young people are more evil than the others. Time treasure, Phoenix hour, etc. Are they all here? He was excited, completely excited, and said, "Why don't you dare? I must enter." Nanfan said calmly. Good. After saying that, he took Changdao Tianshen into the small mountain village. However, as soon as he entered the small mountain village, Changdao Tianshen's expression changed. Because, he felt a kind of oppression. My own cultivation seems to have been suppressed and fallen? Something's wrong. How can an illusion have such power? But, he took a deep breath. It doesn't matter, even if he falls, he is still a true god. However, every time he took a few steps forward, his expression became more ugly. A tree seems to have the power to lift up the sky. A piece of grass actually emits a tau that he cannot see through. When passing by a vegetable field, he was even more stunned. Is this the legendary Lejun's medicinal field in the 33rd heaven? They are all magic medicines that have never been seen before. At the same time, he also saw a vegetable insect. It was a small white vegetable insect crawling around on the vegetable leaves, but he felt like an ancient dragon flying in the sky. The terrifying beast that protects the Yaotian? A divine insect? Sure enough, the magical medicine field must be guarded by a huge evil. He was shocked. However, at this moment, an extremely powerful pressure suddenly came. He subconsciously looked towards the side of the magical medicine field and saw a big rooster walking into the magical medicine field. Then, he pecked out the terrifying insect on the vegetable leaf. No. Changdao Tianshen felt that his heart was going to burst. It was as if he had seen the great horror in the world. His legs softened and he knelt down. Drenched in cold sweat, he looked at the big cock in disbelief. God, what kind of magical bird is this? How could he even eat such a terrifying divine insect in one bite? He had a feeling that he was not even qualified to let this big cock peck. This divine bird only needs one thought. You will be wiped out? He trembled, staring at the big cock, trembling. But, at this moment, he suddenly saw an old man walking over and grabbing the terrifying divine bird. The divine bird struggled in the old man's hands, but was unable to break free and shed a lot of feathers. At this moment, Changdao Tianshen clearly felt that the struggling power of the divine bird was as if it could destroy the world, and every piece of chicken feather that fell was like a divine feather. He was a little sluggish and subconsciously looked at the old man. What is the background of this old man? Are they living in the 33rd heaven, those terrifying existences that only exist in legends? He could actually catch such ferocious divine birds with his bare hands. It was so scary that his legs were trembling. At this time, Wu Dade also unexpectedly spoke and said, "Second uncle, why are you here? This old man is clearly Uncle Zhao Er." The second uncle grabbed the big cock, grinned at this moment, and said, "I'll catch a chicken for your master and let him take it back, so that he won't run out of meat to feed the cat in a few days. Your master is at the uncle's house. Take a walk and go home with the second uncle." Hearing this, Nanfeng and others were delighted. Master is at the second uncle's house. By the way, didn't Xiao Li say that some bad guys caused trouble and you went out to fight? What, did you win? At this time, the second uncle asked again. Upon hearing this, Wu Dade pointed towards the Changdao god who was kneeling on the ground and said, "Second uncle, this is the guy. He is the boss of that group of people." When Uncle Zhao Er heard this, he immediately glared at Changdao Tianshen. Changdao Tianshen was already sweating profusely. Seeing this terrifying old man staring at him like this, he was so frightened that he almost lost control and said hurriedly, I was wrong. Sir, spare your life. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 498. At this moment, Changdao Tianshen knelt down directly, dripping with cold sweat and feeling frightened in his heart. In his opinion, the old man in front of him is definitely a real villain and giant. He had never seen such a terrifying existence in his life. I'm finished. So, I have to be cowardly. Uncle Zhao Er was already lifted up by the crutches and was ready to give him a break, but seeing him begging for mercy, it was hard to do anything. Humph, great virtue, bring him here to see your master. The second uncle spoke immediately. Upon hearing this, Wu Dade immediately said, "Okay, second uncle." Turning his head, he looked at Changdao Tianshen and said, "Let's go, Lord God." When Changdao Tianshen heard this, he almost couldn't stand up and said, Fat brother, just call me Xiao Chang, just call me Xiao Chang." He was scared, completely scared. What kind of existence have you broken into? Now, he wished he could give himself a few big mouths. Damn it, how dare you think this place is an illusion? This place is indeed not the residence of the Divine Lord. There is a being more terrifying than the Divine Lord living here. He followed Wu Dade and others, walking step by step, to the yard of Uncle Zhao Er's house. At this moment, Li Fan was holding a small drink and drinking it leisurely. When Xiaobai was full, she lay in Li Fan's arms and began to take a nap, while Li Fan rubbed her belly. Xiao Li. The second uncle came back with the big cock and said with a smile, "Come on, take this chicken back later. If it's not enough, come and catch it anytime." Li Fan smiled bitterly. He couldn't refuse. The second uncle was too enthusiastic. "Thank you, second uncle." Wu Dade and others also followed, and they all came forward to salute at this moment. "Master, we are back." They spoke. Seeing everyone back, Li Fan couldn't help but feel a little happy and said, "How's it going? You're not hurt, are you? Did you win the battle?" Wu Dade immediately pointed to the Changdao god and said, "Master Qi, we were almost completely victorious. However, this kid showed up and we couldn't defeat him. Even Senior Yun Yinshan was injured by him." Hearing this, Changdao Tianshen shivered and immediately knelt down. He looked at the young man in front of him, his eyes filled with unparalleled terror. Because he saw the chicken in the casserole. The energy emanating from that meat is so terrifying. The other party actually ate the divine bird like a chicken stew. Moreover, it is also used to feed cats. No, that is not a cat at all. White tiger. The real mythical beast, the white tiger? The most fatal thing is that he can't sense the energy of this being at all. Just like a mortal. What level is this? It was not mentioned in any Shinto records that he knew about. Is it beyond the record? He felt his throat was dry and his guts were about to burst with fear. And Li Fan also looked at Changdao god. Is this guy the black boss? Hiss. Li Fan suddenly became a little nervous. This was Li Fan's first time dealing with such a gangster. No, you can't be cowardly. The more you deal with an evil person, the calmer you must be, and the more you should make him afraid. Li Fan immediately sat down calmly, tapped his fingers on the table, and said calmly. Do you prefer single combat or group battles? You take your pick. But after hearing this, Changdao Tianchen immediately panicked and said hurriedly. No. No, I don't dare, I'm wrong. Boss, I didn't mean it. It was a misunderstanding. Everything is a misunderstanding. Cold sweat. Singled out. Group battle. This boss is playing with himself. As a little god, what qualifications do you have to talk about singles and group battles in front of others? Just one thought can kill you. Hearing this, Li Fan was stunned. Is this black boss so cowardly? Could it be that he has the temperament of a gangster? However, when Li Fan thought about it, the other party was just making a stopgap measure. It must be this kid, seeing that there are many people waiting for him, so he gave in. Looking back, I might try to retaliate again. Li Fan immediately turned cold and said. I won't bully you. You just call people as much as you want. I, Mr. Li, will answer them all. Changdao Tianchen was even more panicked. He kowtowed directly and said. No. I was wrong, I was really wrong, spare my life, spare my life. Let yourself call someone? Does this big boss want to destroy the God Lord behind him? If the Lord of God knew that he had caused such a big trouble to him, then it's completely over. He kowtows crazily, which is miserable. Li Fan was a little stunned. This guy was too cowardly. Admit defeat? He asked. Admit defeat, admit defeat. Changdao Tianchen spoke hurriedly. Li Fan nodded immediately and said. Okay, I, Mr. Li, am not a narrow-minded person. Since I admit defeat, I won't embarrass you. However, you will be punished for injuring Senior Yun Yinshan. I order you to kneel down and apologize to Senior Yun Yinshan, beg him for forgiveness, and let him deal with it. Are you willing? Hearing this, Changdao God was startled for a moment. He was a great god, and he wanted to apologize to an ant from the Great Ruins realm. However, he then thought about it, he was just a clone, and if the clone agreed, it would be harmless and would not affect the main body. Now, let's escape first. These people here are untouchable. Okay, I will definitely. He spoke. At the same time, Donghuang, looking at the battlefield in Nanjing. The main body of the Changdao god, with the 5 true gods, stands in the sky. There was a sneer on his lips. Your clone should have found the location of the secret cache, right? He became more and more impatient. He vaguely felt that this would be his blessed place. Even here, can I take a step forward and become the God Lord? His heart is fervent. At the same time, he looked at Yun Yinshan indifferently. This middle-aged man, the more he looked at him, the more he looked like one of the top 10 geniuses known in the divine realm in the past, Yunchen. Even when Yun Chen once dominated the divine realm and was famous all over the world, he was just a true god. At that time, Yun Chen was also in the true god realm, but he was known as an invincible being in the true god realm. Even he, Changdao God, felt out of breath when he heard the word Yun Chen. Those 10 geniuses were so powerful that their peers could not match them. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but continue to speak to Yun Chen, saying, how about I give you another chance to become your teacher? However, Yun Yinshan always shook his head and said, you are too weak. If we fight at the same level, I can kill you 100 times even if I give you one hand. You are too weak. Although he was only at the wandering god level, he had an invincible aura at this moment. That kind of momentum can only be possessed by a truly invincible person, who is not afraid of anything and has the confidence to suppress everything. However, these 3 words made Chang Dao Tianchen furious. The other party's demeanor and contempt made him think of Yun Chen even more. No matter whether you have anything to do with Yun Chen or not, you have to pay the price today. Kneel down and plead guilty. He took one step forward with overwhelming power, shaking the sky. Everyone in the field changed their expressions. Is this God going to take action? When God is angry, who can bear it? Yun Yinshan sighed in his heart. In the past, when he was traversing the divine realm, he was invincible in his generation and hit the water. How could such a young person do this? But now, after all, everything is in vain. Chang Dao Tianshen, with the power of thunder, had reached the sky above Yun Yinshan and shouted again. Kneel down and plead guilty. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly felt that there seemed to be some unstoppable force in the world, falling on him. At this moment, he felt unparalleled fear, he couldn't help himself, and his soul seemed to be dominated. He suddenly knelt in front of Yun Yinshan and said, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I plead guilty. Please, forgive me. Everyone in the audience was immediately dumbfounded. What's going on here? Yun Yinshan was also stunned. This fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 499. The dignified Changdao God. Just now, he was so high up in the sky that a chi machine suppressed the world, making the Diggs realm dare not look sideways, and towered over the sky. However, now he was actually kneeling in front of Yun Yinshan. Beg for mercy. At this moment, everyone was shocked and looked at the scene in disbelief. It was like seeing a ghost. What happened? Why did he kneel down to Master Yun? A generation of gods actually knelt down. Everyone was stunned and confused. God, what happened to his old man? Didn't Lord God want this Ant to kneel down to apologize? Why did he kneel down instead? Did my eyes get blurred? My eyes must have blurred. The 5 true gods including True God Roy looked even more shocked at this moment. This scene was beyond their understanding. The Supreme God. This change before and after is too dramatic, right? Even Yun Yinshan himself looked confused. He looked at Chang Dao Tianshen kneeling in front of him, and for a moment, he couldn't react. What's going on? Chang Dao Tianshen, kneeling on the ground, was extremely frightened at this moment. He had no idea what was going on. Everything happens involuntarily, as if my soul and body no longer belong to me. The hair all over his body had exploded and he was trembling, but he did not dare to stand up. His whole body was like a skeleton. He seemed to feel a big hand in the dark, weighing him down so that he couldn't breathe. Life or death is not up to you. Please, forgive me, I can accept any punishment. Chang Dao Tianshen spoke with difficulty. There was a voice in his heart telling him that this was not what he wanted to say. But he couldn't help it at all. No. Could it be that something happened to the clone? Damn it, what are you doing? He was suddenly angry and scared. Immediately afterwards, he couldn't help but kowtow. Yun Yinshan's eyes were filled with endless doubts. No, he is controlled by some kind of causal power. Suddenly, Yun Yinshan's eyes jumped. What kind of causal power can actually control a god? Could it be? Did Senior Li take action in the wilderness? Thinking of this, his heart couldn't help but beat wildly and he was excited at the same time. This is the only explanation. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, looked at Chang Dao Tianshen, and said tentatively. I can forgive you, but, you must deprive yourself of your cultivation. Destroy your cultivation. Chang Dao Tianshen heard this, and his eyes were filled with shock and anger. This ant actually dared to let himself destroy his cultivation? However, the unwilling thought in his heart just flashed by. The next moment, he suddenly raised his palm and hit his dantian. Ah! Changdao Tianshen let out a shrill scream. His cultivation was ruined. The Tao fruit dispersed and his divine power disappeared. At this moment, he was like a useless person. God! God! Roy Zhenshen and others were all panicking at this moment. What's going on? This world is so evil, isn't it? Have absolutely no idea what's going on. The more this happens, the more terrifying, unfathomable, and weird they feel. Everyone in the audience was stunned. And at this moment, in a small mountain village, Li Fan couldn't help but nodded when he saw that the black boss had given in and promised to kneel down and apologize to Yun Yinshan. This black boss is not as difficult to talk to as he thought. Very approachable. Well, in that case, let's forget about it. From today on, forget all this. Li Fan spoke calmly. It's better to make enemies than to make enemies, and he doesn't want his disciples to go out and fight all day long. After all, if you are wandering around the world, you will always get stabbed. Hearing this, Changdao God nodded hurriedly and said, I must forget all of this. He understood that what this big boss meant was that he did not want outsiders to know that he was living in seclusion here. Li Fan said, okay, let's go. When Changdao Tianshen heard this, he turned around and ran away. Finally, he ran out of the small mountain village and frantically escaped from the god burial wasteland. I'm finally out, am I safe? At this point, Changdao Tianshen finally breathed a sigh of relief. Huh? Me, why am I here? What just happened? Changdao Tianshen suddenly changed his expression. All his memories are actually gone. He turned back in horror and looked at the vast wilderness. There was only an unprecedented fear in my heart. Here, there is great terror. He was frightened and turned around hurriedly, trying to escape, but when he lifted his feet, he couldn't fly anymore and fell to the ground, whereupon he fell like a dog. No. Where is my cultivation? How come all my cultivation is gone? Changdao Tianshen's expression changed greatly and his face turned green. Nima, master, you grandson, what have you done? You're cheating on me. He was immediately angry. As a clone, everything would be affected by the main body. This means, the main body may be finished. No. My cultivation has disappeared, I can't maintain my clone, I'm going to die. The main body, I am Cao Nima. The clone Changdao Tianshen let out a sad and angry curse, and then slowly disappeared. Without the support of divine power, the clone cannot exist. And at this moment, Eastern Wasteland, looking at the battlefield in Nanjing, everyone was still a little dumbfounded. All this is simply beyond our wildest dreams. I wouldn't dare write a novel like this. A majestic god, just kneeling down to beg for mercy, do you think that he will be crippled by just one word from a wandering god? Simply, outrageous. Yun Yinshan was stunned. He was not sure at first, so he just said it casually and gave it a try. I didn't expect it to actually work. It's so sloppy, Changdao Tianshen should be asked to commit suicide directly. But at this moment, it's hard to say anything else. His expression was very complicated, and he understood very clearly that only Senior Li could do this. Senior Li actually asked a god to kneel down and apologize to him. A warm current suddenly flashed through his heart, and he was extremely grateful. This Senior Li was taking care of his self-esteem. Is this old man afraid that he will be humiliated by Changdao God and have problems with his Taoist heart? Really, you take great care of your juniors. Yongzi has a good master. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but look at Changdao God and said, let's go. From today on, Don't come to the Great Ruins realm again, and don't try to take action against this realm. Otherwise, the consequences will be 10 times more serious than today. Hearing this, Chang Dao felt as if he had been granted amnesty by the gods. At this moment, he felt that the power that oppressed him and turned him into a puppet disappeared. I'm leaving now. He stood up hurriedly, looked at the true gods behind him, and said, "Why don't you come and take me away quickly? He is already crippled and can no longer fly." True God Roy and others only reacted at this moment, hurriedly walked over, took Changdao God, turned into rainbow light and fled quickly. Don't dare to stop at all. In an instant, all the enemy troops were wiped out. Even the gods, true gods, etc. have all escaped. Everyone in the Great Ruins realm looked at this battlefield in a daze. We won. The allied forces of the 100 realms are completely destroyed. Not even the true God has not conquered the Great Ruins realm. Everyone spoke excitedly. We didn't win. At this time, Mu Wangking took a deep breath, stepped forward and said, "It's the Lord of Desolate Heaven. He saved us." As she spoke, she saluted deeply towards the flag with the 4 characters Lord of the Wild Sky floating on it. Immediately, everyone in the audience saluted with extreme respect. And at this moment, in the cold space of space, a true God-level spaceship, crossing the void. The entire spaceship was empty except for a middle-aged man sitting on the bow. He looked towards the stars behind him, his eyes filled with a sense of joy of surviving the disaster. It's so evil, that damn little mountain village actually came to the earthly world. No, I have to run away further. I, Lao Ao, never want to see that damn mountain village or those damn people again. He wiped the cold sweat from his face and headed towards the Defa Star realm resolutely. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 500. Great Fortune Star Realm. In the Fuxian sect, the sect leader Bai Songming has been waiting and has not slept a wink for several days. Because what happened this time was really related to the life and death of Defa Star Realm. He does not trust the Changdao God, but he also hopes that with the help of the other party, the Defa Star Realm can become the seat of the eternal world in the star wheel. In this way, he could use the power of many stars to activate the great formation in Fuxian sect. Communicate with the divine realm. This is the long-cherished wish of successive generations of Fuxian sect leaders. The former Great Blessing Star Realm was known as the Star Realm protected by the gods. It is said that the god of fortune once walked out of here and entered the 33rd heaven. But later, it declined, and the entire star realm was occupied by the great demon. Their so-called sacrifice to gods is just a sacrifice to demons. He is the only person in this world who knows the truth. If the people of the Defa Star realm were to know that what is hanging over this realm is not gods, but monsters, this world will lose hope. The sect masters of all generations have been keeping this secret so that the people of the Great Fortune Star can live in a beautiful dream. Only by re-establishing communication with the divine realm, and only by allowing the beings in the divine realm to take action. Only then can this world be saved. And the key to all this lies in whether the conquest of the Great Ruins realm can be successful this time. It will definitely succeed. With the help of gods and true gods, it is impossible for a mere star realm that is not even as good as the Defa Star realm to withstand it. He took a deep breath. Report. At this time, a loud shout suddenly came. An old man hurriedly ran over and said, "Sect Master, it's not good. The soul lamps of Tai Han, Zhonggan, and many other elders. All destroyed. All destroyed." This old man is the elder responsible for guarding the Soul Lantern Palace, named Zhongyu. Hearing this, Bai Songming was shocked, slipped from the chair, and sat on the ground. His eyes were suddenly filled with grief. The whole person seemed to have aged countless years in an instant. Oh my God! This time, all the strongest forces in Dafu Star Realm have gone. The result was total destruction. Sinner. I am the sinner of the entire Great Fortune Star Realm. His blood rushed to his heart, a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his face turned pale. Metropolitan. Zhang Yu hurriedly stepped forward and helped him up. I harmed the entire Dafu Star Realm. Bai Songming spoke sadly. Hey, Sect Master, you are also doing this for the good of the Great Fortune Star Realm. Zhang Yu was also very sentimental. Report. Ao Wushuan is back, he's back alone. At this time, another voice sounded outside. Hearing this, Bai Songming and Zhang Yu both raised their heads suddenly. One came back. Actually, someone can come back alive? Bring it up quickly. Bai Songming shouted hurriedly. Immediately, Ao Wushuan was brought up from outside. Ao Wushuan, what happened? Tell me. Bai Songming spoke eagerly. Ao Wushuan gritted his teeth and said. Sect Master Qi, the evil sect in the Great Ruins realm cannot go anywhere. It is absolutely impossible to go. He briefly talked about what happened in the Great Ruins realm. However, he did not mention the small mountain village. He just said that he saw something wrong and ran away in a hurry. After all, that small mountain village was too weird, and it also involved the underworld, so I couldn't talk about it until I died. Where is Bai Songming? At this time, another urgent voice sounded outside. Only 6 figures were seen landing in front of the main hall. True God Roy and others supported the god Changdao. At this moment, Tianshen Changdao's face was extremely pale and his breath was weak. What's wrong? Bai Songming and others stepped forward, took a look, and were immediately frightened. The breath of Changdao god. Wasted. Became immortal? Hiss. Immediately, they all took a breath of air conditioning. What exactly is there in the Great Ruins realm to actually make the gods become like this? We want to find a treasure place to heal the gods, and lead the way quickly. True God Roy spoke directly in a deep voice. Bai Songming's eyes darkened, but he knew that Fuxian sect could not afford to offend these gods. Come here, take all of you to the gods to Fuling Mountain. It is the place where the sacred substances of heaven and earth are most concentrated. Immediately, Changdao Tianshen and others left. Sect Master, this Great Ruins realm is really evil. Zhang Yu looks complicated. But Bai Songming, at this moment, suddenly turned around and looked at Ao Wushuan. Ao Wushuan was a little frightened and said. Sect Master, you're fine. Bai Songming grabbed his hand, his eyes shining, and he said eagerly. You should be the legendary Lucky Star. Upon hearing these 4 words, Ao Wushuan was immediately stunned. Unparalleled Lucky Star. Own. Did the surprise come so suddenly? He was excited, with tears rolling in his eyes, and said. Sect Master, you are really a wise man. Bai Songming patted his shoulder and said. Go and rest with Elder Zhang. In a few days, I will convene a sect ceremony and make you the heir to the sect. Hearing this, Ao Wushuan became even more excited. He immediately left with Zhang Yu. Seeing them leaving, there was a deep despair in Bai Songming's eyes. He didn't know whether Ao Wushuan was a lucky star. But now, the Dafu Star realm has been hit hard, and almost all the elites have died. It is necessary to introduce a unique lucky star to inspire people. As for whether this unparalleled lucky star is real or fake, it doesn't matter so much. And at this moment, in the Dafu Star realm, there is a large lake among the towering mountains. Viewed from a very high altitude, the lake looks like a black hole, Filled with thousands of dead auras, the lake water is like ink, and there is a faint evil aura rising into the sky. Those dead energy and evil spirits seem to have formed some strange animal shapes, as if they were about to impact the sky. The massive amount of death energy is extremely astonishing. If it is vented, I am afraid that the entire Dafustar realm will be greatly changed because of it. However, some kind of wonderful formation was set up around the big lake. At this moment, there were runes flashing, suppressing the fluctuations of death energy in the big lake. Roar! At this moment, a terrifying monster suddenly rose into the sky from the lake, piercing the clouds and fog, and its dragon shadow shook the sky. That's a dragon! The roar of the dragon shook the mountains. 3 ancestors. Third ancestor, hold still. Around the big lake, many figures suddenly appeared, and they shouted in unison. At the same time, they hurriedly threw many human figurines into the large lake. The third ancestor's aura is so powerful this time. Is he finally going to become an indestructible monster body? The demon refining lake is connected to a certain secret realm. It is said that the power of demons and evil spirits emanates from that secret realm. If the clan brings the power of demons and evil spirits into the demon refining lake, it can improve the level of the demon refining lake. It is true. The 3 ancestors have been cultivating in the demon refining lake for the longest time. Are they about to cultivate an indestructible demon body now? Unfortunately, although the quality of demon refining lake has been greatly improved thanks to the evil power emanating from the depths of the secret place, it also has hidden dangers in cultivation. Too much evil power accumulated in the body will make the cultivator become violent, bloodthirsty and losing oneself. Only the power of will and good fortune can suppress that evil power. These creatures around the lake are not human beings, but people from the Dragon Demon clan. They are here to protect it. This place is the demon refining lake of the Dragon Demon clan. At this moment, the huge black dragon in the demon refining lake exudes unparalleled power, and its body is like a destroyable star, becoming more and more violent. The 3 ancestors have completed their indestructible demon body. Quickly, use your wish and luck to suppress the evil power in your body for the 3 ancestors. Someone shouted. They will throw the human figurines that store wishes and luck towards the huge black dragon. The black dragon's claws flashed past, and the figurine exploded instantly. The power of wish and luck poured into the black dragon's body, making its figure slightly fixed. It works. Great, the 3 ancestors succeeded. Not bad monster body, this is the first time such a powerful body appears in our clan. Many guardians spoke excitedly. But, the next moment, the huge black dragon suddenly let out a long roar. Huge black claws swatted towards the group of guardians. Ah! No! The evil power in the body of the 3 ancestors has not been suppressed. This group of guardians screamed miserably. Countless deaths. At the same time, all the large formations around the demon refining lake were activated, suppressing the demon refining lake. The black dragon struggled for a long time, but finally submerged into the lake. Outside, birds are running away and animals are frightened. And thousands of miles away from this big lake, somewhere in a secret place, the 3 ancestors built an indestructible monster body, but lost control. Someone exclaimed. That day, in this secret realm, countless powerful men from the dragon clan gathered in a demon palace to discuss matters. Suddenly I remembered that today is Children's Day, so I will update a chapter in the middle of the night. I wish the children will grow up happily and be worry-free forever. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 501. In the main hall of the demon clan. After hearing the news coming from the depths of Demon Refining Lake, the atmosphere in the hall was extremely heavy. At the top of the hall, 2 old men with pale hair and beards sat. On their heads, there are vaguely dragon horns. These 2 people, are the two ancestors of the dragon demon clan. The first ancestral dragon pans the sky, and the second ancestral dragon pans the clouds. They are the same generation as Long Panfan, the third ancestor who cultivated in the demon refining lake. On weekdays, they almost never appear in the clan. After all, their status is too high, they are all at the demon lord level, and almost all of them are in seclusion. But this time, the matter is big and involves demon refining lake. Sitting below them were two young people, a man and a woman. The young man looked arrogant, had two tender horns on his head, and had an extraordinary aura. He is the monster, Long Aotian. The girl was completely different from everyone else in the room. She had a beautiful face, a golden dress, and a faint golden light in her eyes. The most peculiar thing was her ears. She has 6 ears, 3 on each side, which are small and translucent and look quite cute. She is not from the dragon clan, but from the 6-eared macaque clan. The 6-eared macaque clan has the magical power to know the time and the secrets of the 3 realms. Therefore, the dragon demon clan specially invited her to come and help find the unparalleled lucky star. The level of the demon refining lake is actually such that it can be refined into an indestructible demon body. Our lineage will be greatly prospered if we get this treasure. Looking up, Long Pangyun spoke with emotion. The demon refining lake is the most important training place for the dragon demon clan. It is made by accumulating the death energy of the heavens. It can help the dragon demon clan develop a supreme demon body. Thousands of years ago, they accidentally discovered a secret realm. In that secret realm, there was extremely powerful evil power. As a result, they led the evil power into the demon refining lake to improve the level of the demon refining lake. Until today, the 3 ancestors tried their own methods and finally proved that the demon refining lake can already create an indestructible demon body that is rare in the world. The indestructible demon body is extremely famous among the demon clan. This is enough to prove that the current level of demon refining lake has reached a very high level. For the demon clan, it can be called a treasure. However, Long Pantian beside him let out a long sigh and said, "However, the evil power in Lao San's body cannot be suppressed, now we can only use a large formation to seal him." Although demon refining lake has become a treasure place, this weird evil power is difficult to control and is always a big worry. The evil power emanating from the secret realm is a double-edged sword. While improving the level of demon refining lake, it also brought hidden dangers. The longer you practice, the more evil and strange power you accumulate, and the practitioner will become violent, twisted, and even lose yourself. Fortunately, the world they live in is the place where lucky stars were born in the past. Contains the power of good fortune. They have always relied on the human figurines enshrined by the Fusion section. The wish power and luck contained in those human figurines can suppress that kind of evil. But now, as the level of the demon refining lake increases, the strange evil power becomes more and more terrifying. Ordinary human figurines seem to be no longer useful. Unless we find the legendary lucky star, only the blood of the lucky star can completely drive away that weird evil. Long Pantian spoke solemnly. This is the reason why they let Fusion sect keep looking for the unparalleled lucky star. Although the human figurines presented by the Fusion sect are people with good fortune, they cannot be compared with the unparalleled lucky stars in the records. If the peerless lucky star cannot be found in time, the demon refining lake will have to continue to be sealed. Not only will the 3rd child be unable to come out, but more importantly, the clan's 9 sons war is about to begin. By then, our lineage will, I'm afraid I'm going to be delayed. With that said, Long Pantian glanced at Long Aotian who was sitting below. Hearing this, everyone's expressions became a little heavy. The dragon demon clan is a giant clan in the demon world. They are just a branch of the dragon monster clan. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, during the war between demons and gods, the demon world was destroyed. The demon clan in the world had to hide from all sides. Their lineage hid in this great blessing star world. There are 9 lines in the dragon monster clan, and each line will cultivate a monster. The 9 monsters will eventually be expelled, and only one will survive. The 9 Sons War was extremely cruel. If you win, this lineage will be extremely glorious. Today's demon refining lake is too important to Yazai Long Aotian. It can be said that the success or failure of this lake is related to the future of the entire ethnic group. And the solution to all problems. Only one. Unparalleled blessing. If the unparalleled lucky star disappears in one day, do you think I have to keep waiting? Long Aotian couldn't help but pat the chair, stood up, and said, "Sacrifice the entire star realm and bless me with the blessings of the entire star realm. I can't wait any longer." Hearing this, everyone became quiet. This may be the last resort. Destroy an entire world. Maybe it doesn't have to be this way. At this time, a clear voice suddenly sounded. Everyone looked around and saw that the girl from the 6-eared macaque tribe had stood up. She smiled slightly and said, "I just heard the news from Fusion section. They seem to have discovered a peerless lucky star. That man's name is Xuanhuan." Hearing this, everyone was shocked. What? The unparalleled lucky star appears. How can it be? Everyone in the field was in disbelief. I'm not sure, but this time, the alien god mobilized hundreds of stars to besiege the Great Ruins realm. None of those who went there came back. Even the god himself was crippled. Only Xuanhuan was left unscathed. Hurt. The girl spoke calmly. There are no secrets for her in this world. Including the appearance of Changdao Tianshen, it was never hidden from her from the beginning to the end. This is the innate magical power of the 6-eared macaque clan. It can listen to the sounds of the 3 realms and understand the secrets of the universe. Of course, she can't reach that point yet. She can only hear all the sounds in this world. If it is really a lucky star, then, it is simply a blessing from God. Yes, let's go and catch him now. Everyone was excited and impatient. But the girl smiled slightly and said, "In my opinion, there should be no rush. The most urgent task is to confirm whether this person is an unparalleled lucky star. If he is not, what can we do if we catch him? Opening the demon refining lake formation rashly will only increase casualties." Long Pantian also nodded and said, "The spirit collecting girl is right. Gentoo, send that thorn of disaster to Fusion sect. Keep an eye on me. If Xuanhuan can really survive the thorn of disaster, it means that he is an unparalleled lucky star. There must be no mistakes." He spoke coldly and looked down at a middle-aged man. Hearing this, the expressions of everyone in the audience changed drastically. The sting of disaster. You must know that the reason why they were able to discover the secret realm containing evil power in the first place was because someone discovered a thorn of thorns. That thorn not only came from where it came from, but also what kind of thorn it grew on, but it carried unparalleled disaster and evil power. Everyone he came into contact with went crazy and died. All this time, the thorn of disaster was locked in the 100,000 mountains, and no one dared to approach it. Now, but it's going to be released. If he is a peerless lucky star, he will naturally be able to withstand the evil power of the thorn of disaster. If not, it would be no pity if he died. Yes, you might as well give it a try. Hearing this, everyone nodded. If you can't even withstand the thorn of disaster, you will definitely not be the legendary unparalleled lucky star. Long Gentoo stepped forward and said, "As ordered, Gentoo will do it now." He left, and the demons in the palace were also preparing to disperse. 2 ancestors. At this time, Lucaling, a girl from the 6-eared macaque tribe, suddenly spoke again and said, "If this person is really a lucky star, the agreement between us." Long Pantian glanced at her lightly and said, "Princess, please don't worry, we will abide by our agreement. You help us find the unparalleled lucky star, and we will give you the ancestral demon stone token. This is an agreement. The girl from the six-eared macaque clan came to their lineage just to find one thing, the ancestral demon stone token. Hearing this, Lucaling smiled slightly and said, "Thank you very much." Inside Fusion sect. 3 days later, it will be the day when the sect canonized the successor of the sect leader. Today, the sect leader Bai Songming came to the temple to give his blessings. As soon as he entered the temple, the black light was already on. In the black light, a jade box suddenly appeared. "Because of your sincerity in serving, I will give you a treasure. This thing can destroy an entire world easily." In the black light, an indifferent voice sounded. Hearing this, Bai Songming was stunned. He took the jade box and saw that in the transparent jade box was a thorn as thick as a thumb. Like something falling off a thorn. This thing can destroy an entire world? However, this object contains evil power. Only those with great luck can hold it. Otherwise, you will die if you touch it. Remember. As soon as the words fell, the black light disappeared immediately. Hearing this, Bai Songming trembled a little. Can a world be destroyed, held by someone with great fortune? An idea suddenly appeared in his mind. Nowadays, people in Defu Star Realm are in panic, and Fusion sect is under unprecedented pressure. If you can use this thing to destroy the Great Ruins realm, then, the world's anger towards the Fusion sect will subside, and at the same time, the Great Fortune Star Realm will also have the opportunity to become the center of the star wheel. The great demon, why would he give this thing? He didn't know, and he was wary. However, he can no longer worry so much. There is no choice. 3 days later, on the day of the canonization, Xuanhuan, the successor of the sect leader and the peerless Lucky Star, will avenge the people who died in the Great Ruin Realm, and destroy the Great Ruin Realm. He gave the order directly. He wants to take a gamble.